number 30 through 21. This is what it's all come down to. This is what we've been waiting for. This is as good as it gets. Except for the 2 lists after this. 30 through 21, these are games which I have listed as my proud to be faithful games. And of course, those of you who are fans of the Game of the Thrones, you realize that proud to be faithful is the motto of House Stokeworth, which is just as famous of a saying as in Westeros as Lannister pays his debts, or we do not sow, or winter is coming, right? Proud to be faithful. Okay, these are older games. Looking at these are 2004, 2005, 2007, 2009, and 2010, I think. So that's a long time in board game years. 6 years is even just 6 years. So much has happened, so much innovation, so many great new games. But I am so proud to be faithful to these great, great games. So my number 21 is the game that I am most proud to be faithful to. What could it be? Who knows? Well, I do. You'll find out in 10 minutes. All right, here we go. Number 30, a very popular game, very influential. You'll see it's not right there. It's not Puerto Rico. It's San Juan. I do like Puerto Rico. I think I'm going to do a segment at one point in Board Game Breakfast about my thoughts about how Puerto Rico is the most influential game of our hobby. I really think it is. Save that for another time. But I like the San Juan implementation better. I think that in terms of you have all the good parts of Puerto Rico, where you've got the different resources and the different buildings. You know, they use a similar art, so you feel kind of like you're playing the same game, but it's a little more streamlined and it's faster to play. I remember, when I was first taught Puerto Rico, the individual who taught me knew it 1,000 times better than I did, and you really feel like you're shellacked when that's the case. But then when I played San Juan for the first time, everyone who's playing was basically on the same level. So maybe that's where it is. Maybe there's some gamer psychology there that I need to overcome. Maybe I need to go to Puerto Rico therapy. Who knows? But I do like San Juan a lot better, and I am proud to be faithful to it. All right, what do we got next? Number 29. Oh, okay. This is interesting. I'm going to repeat my similar premise on this. And my number 29 is Shadows over Camelot, the card game. Now, the first cooperative game I ever played was Shadows. And I didn't really know what to make of it. Also, I was the trader. And that's a really weird way to teach someone how to play a cooperative game, right? The thing I like better about the Shadows over Camelot, the card game, is I feel like that trader element isn't quite as obvious. And I really like the Merlin cards that come out to help you and the Morgana Le Fay cards that come out to hurt you. And I particularly like when it comes out, okay, you can't talk anymore, right? I think that's a great way to stymie a couple of problems with cooperative games. The alpha gamer being one of them, because if you can't talk, then you can't boss someone around. And the other element is then making it too easy because you can strategize too much. So I really like Shadows over Camelot, the card game. All right, my number 28. And this one, I'm so proud to be faithful to this game. Number 28, Defenders of the Realm. Now, you'll notice most people will compare this to Pandemic, and most people prefer Pandemic to this. I feel exactly the opposite. I like this one so much better than Pandemic. I like it precisely 12 spots more than Pandemic. The thing I like best about Defenders of the Realm, in terms of that alpha gamerism that I mentioned for Shadows of Camelot, is the characters are so different in terms of they all have 3 or 4 different abilities. And the challenges that you have are so varied in terms of, do we need to deal with the minions? Do we need to deal with the bosses? Do we need to deal with the corruption in the land? Do we have to worry about the individual quests we have? Is there some advantage to that? That there's so much going on that it's harder to alpha game and tell someone what to do. I think I'd have to say my favorite character is the generic adventurer. And I like that character so much. They just have some great utility powers. It makes me wish I could play D&D with a character class just called Adventurer. So there you go. Defenders of the Realm. Okay, number 27. This game came out in 2009, so yeah, it's definitely from a while ago. And when I went to the game parlor, which was that, I did that bit last year where it's kind of sappy, where it was closing, right? When I went there for the first time, the very first game I played there was this, and that is Cyclades, or Cyclades, or Cyclades. I don't know how to say it. Please help me figure out how to do that. It's Greek, so I think you say Kai, but there's a Y. I don't know. It's all Greek to me. Sorry, you probably find that annoying. The people who find me annoying probably find that joke annoying. This game does a great job of combining Euro elements and Amerithrash elements, right? Because we have the resource gathering and the auctioning that you do and building up your cities, but then there's also the direct combat and the fighting. The prestige of this game, right, is because, you have the mechanics, you have the theme, and then you have the prestige, the really good ones, is the monsters that can be introduced, right? That's the wild card that makes this game a game, right? The monsters also add an enormous amount to the theme in terms of the Greek mythology with your Cyclopses and your Medusas and your Nemean lions and all these kind of things. If you didn't have those, it wouldn't feel as Grecian as it could. Is there in truth no beauty? Well, there is in the fabulous world of Cyclades. All right, moving on. Number 26. Now, this is a game it came out in 2007. This is almost a 10-year-old game, but I think it holds up extremely well, and that is Kingsburg. You roll the dice, and you portion them like workers, so it's kind of like dice rolling worker placement mechanic. You've got this board that's got the king's court out there, and it's like you're winning the favor of different members of the court, whether it's the lowly jester or the queen or the king himself. You're bidding for these resources. You're using the resources to build up your city on your tableau. You're working through the season. So in the springtime, there are different mechanics than when it's the fall time. You're preparing for when the villains will attack, and are you going to be ready? Are you going to be able to fight them off? All while competing with each other to build the greatest Kingsburg. And that doesn't sound right. That's the kind of cliche I use, but it didn't really work. Whoever has built the fewest buildings gets some kind of benefit. And one of the things I like about that is A, it combats the rich get richer mechanic, and B, it creates a different strategic choice, because then there's the idea of, well, do I want to go for that, right? Do I want to intentionally withhold building a building for a few rounds so I can get that benefit and then surge into the lead, right? So Kingsburg, terrific game, and I'm proud to be faithful. So now, I frequently talk about, and you've noticed, games that are good to introduce to non-gamers or casual gamers. I think for whatever reason I find myself in situations where I'm teaching games a lot, and so I appreciate games that hit that kind of sweet spot. And I was searching for like the best introductory cooperative game, and I found it at the 2013 Dice Tower convention, and that was Castle Panic. Here you go. So the idea is castle is under attack, the villainous hordes are invading, and you've got to fight them off. You've got archers, you've got knights, you've got a champion, you've got a barbarian or two you can throw at them. You're building up the gates. You're trying to survive horde after horde of attacking monsters. Oh, now, they're also doing a Star Trek Panic, which is the same idea, but like the Enterprise is in the middle and you're getting attacked by Klingons and stuff. I don't know how well that will work, but I'm excited to see it. Love the implementation. I like the cartoonish art. Look at that villainous orc there. He is just going to cause all kinds of problems for you. Castle Panic. All right, moving down to number 24. There are a lot of games about Las Vegas. We've seen a couple of them already on this list. Tragically, there aren't a lot of games about other cities in the great state of Nevada, except for this one, Carson City. Now, cowboys are one of my favorite themes. One of the things I love about Carson City is you have the little cowboy meeples, the cow beeples. But you're not just cowboys, right? You're prospecting the land. You're betting on what's going to be the most prosperous. You can take the role of the sheriff. You can take the role of the desperado. You can take the role of the guy who builds the extra fences for you. Or you can take the role of the slimy 19th century banker. One of the great things about this game is it adds the sort of cowboy shoot-'em-up duel element to it, where we place our workers, and there's no reason why you can't place a worker in the same location as someone else. But if you do, it's clobbering time. Oh, no, wait. It's shooting time. There's definitely like a stare down you know, especially as you get later on in the game, this is a game that really is satisfying beginning, middle, and end, right? Where that last round of Carson City is intense. Anyway, my one complaint about this game is it's not on Board Game Arena, because then I'd be playing it all the time. Carson City. All right, 23. This came out in 2005. I'm still proud to be faithful to it. It's a game we've talked a lot about on the Dice Tower. I appreciate the Dice Tower because if it weren't for this channel, I don't think I ever would have found this game. And that is Mission Red Planet. So you know the drill with this. It's sort of a retro sci-fi. What if we could have gone to Mars during the 19th century? Steampunkish type of stuff. If you like steampunk, get Mission Red Planet. You absolutely should. You pick different... People compare this to Citadels. But I like this game so much more than Citadels. Neither tongue can tell nor mind can comprehend how much better I like this than Citadels. You pick different characters as part of your exploration, choose which different parts of the Red Planet to go to try to explore and to mine. There is some elements where you can sabotage your opponents, but there's no like fighting. I think there's just the right amount of bonus points at the end of the game that you can acquire. For some games, like the bonus points at the end are way too much, where it feels like it throws off the whole rest of the game. And there are other games where the bonus points are so middling, it's like, why am I even bothering with this? But for this, it just hits that sweet spot really well. Fantasy Flight recently did a new version of Mission Red Planet, so it's not as difficult to get as it used to be. Recommend it highly. In fact, I would say there are only 22 games I recommend more than this, and that is Mission Red Planet. All right, this is another game from 2005. It's kind of obscure at this point, and that game is called China. And it's an abstract strategy area control game where we're looking at the different regions of ancient China. And our turn, we have a decision to make. We play a card which indicates where we're going to place one of our pieces, and then we have the choice: do we place buildings or do we place emissaries? There's a very complex equilibrium. That's a word I like to use in board games. I'm going to try to use that 1,000 times in the next 2 months. There's a great equilibrium in terms of I can place something here and that gives me an advantage here, but then if I do that, he's going to abandon that region and then he's going to focus there and I'm in trouble there, so maybe I need to shore things up here, or maybe I need to go here so I can try to break a tie there, or maybe I need to go there to ensure there is a tie. It's very simple. The board itself is not the prettiest thing in the world. I'm sure if they did a new version of it now, it would look much better, but I don't think they can improve the gameplay because it plays just solid as can be. I would recommend like a Chinese themed evening where you eat some Chinese food, some General Tso's chicken, you play this game, and then you watch that Jet Li movie, Hero. I think that would capture the grandeur of ancient China. Alrighty, okay, we're coming to a close. Number 21. This is the game I am most proud to be faithful to. This is a game that had a lot of competition the year it was released. I'm not surprised that in many ways it's kind of fallen by the wayside. It was a nominee for the Spiel des Jahres in 2008, and there are a couple games came out that year you may have heard of. One is called Dominion, and one is called Pandemic. Nonetheless, I am proud to be faithful to which is Brew. When I teach this to people, I tell them it's like your first year students at Hogwarts, you're in potion making class, and you're trying to get these different individuals to help you make the best potions in the whole school. You've got a hand of cards you can choose from, and each round you're able to pick 5 of them, and then you go around in turn order playing them and trying to essentially take a trick, right? Where if you play the witch, you want to win the witch trick. If you've got the monk in your hand, you want to win the monk trick. Some of them will get you resources, some of them spend resources to build potions, some of them will just get you bonus points, some of them will steal stuff from other people, some of them will convert components. Wonderful art, just delightful, charming art on these cards. Now, there was a recent re-implementation called Broom Service, which adds a board element to it, and you're kind of exploring through the board as you're doing this. I don't like it quite as much. It might objectively be a better game, but I might just like this one so much that I'm biased, and from a Jones rule standpoint, I don't feel like I need something to replace it. I love it. I think Witch's Brew is terrific. I am so proud to be faithful to it. I'm always happy to play this game. My number 21. Okay, we're almost wrapped up. We've only got 2 more lists to do left. Thanks for coming with us. Thanks for everyone's participation in this. Appreciate all your views. So delighted to do this. Such a privilege to be able to interact with you, my fellow gamers, in this regard. Thanks for your help, and I look forward to seeing you next time.